In this video, we are going to talk about making the frame of the Focus wider to accommodate the girth of a different end user. The first thing that we need to look at is the bolts on the surface. So what we notice here is that we have about an inch between this first bolt hole and the last bolt hole on each side. So that tells me that we have about 2 inches of width that we can grow in this particular unit. So as you can see, I've removed the entire seat plate and the backrest to open up to the entire frame. Take those brackets off. What we can see in here is that we have expansion posts that are going to allow for me to expand this at least 1 more inch. By evaluating the hole placements here, I could also make this an inch narrower if necessary. As you can see, we have a forward view of the Focus. In this video, we are going to continue the process to make the width adjustment. I like to do this adjustment 1/2 of the chair at a time. You can see that we have 2 sets of bolts on these sleeves on all of these cross members. What we will have to do is remove all of the bolts from one side at a time, move them into their new position, and then replace the bolts. Then we will do the same thing on the other side. So to start this process, I like to use the 10mm wrench, ratchet, and a crescent wrench to hold the rotation on the off side. As you notice, as we look at the bolts, these are the 10mm. There are also cross member sections that have 8mm bolts in them as well. So for the completion of this project, we will also need the 8mm wrench. I generally use a crescent wrench to hold one end and the box end ratchet to operate the other end. So we have the nut off, we will extract the bolt. We will complete the process through all the cross braces on this side, and then we will move the bolts to a new hole position to match the desired width of the unit. So prior to putting the seat pan back in place, I've found that it is easier to put these seat pan brackets on like this and line up their holes and get a little piece of electrical tape, put it over it, to hold it in position so I don't have to fight with the parts when I get the pan in place over them. So now that I have the plate in place over the brackets, I've lined the brackets up with the holes that I'm going to put the bolts in, and then I will put the nuts on the bottom of all the bolts that hold the seat pan in place.